guys, welcome to the best books memorial of February. This is posting a little bit later in March just because I didn't get my outcry till late, so I went ahead and did that video first. But I had, let's see, let me just count really quick here. Oh, heavy troubles my computer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different books that I really, really loved in February. It was a pretty good month of reading for me, and I did read quite a bit. So I'm just going to go ahead and start going through them. The first book that I read in February that I really, really loved was East to West Volume 10. This one I had been waiting for from the library for a very long time, like months and months and months, and had still not gotten it. So I don't know if it got lost or whatever, but I finally got it through just buying it. My son and I were both waiting to read it and finally just bought it. I thought they did an excellent job of wrapping up this series. I thought it was probably the most cohesive, most well done book of the whole graphic novel series, and I love how everything wrapped up. This is a very dark, like alternate history, Western fantasy apocalypse, but somehow the way they tied it up just, I don't know, made it seem like hopeful and good, and it was just really well done, and I really, really loved it. So very excited both to finish the series and that the final book was so amazing. All right. The next one I read in ebook format, and that was The Kingdom of Flesh and Fire by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I'm a pretty big Jennifer Armentrout fan, and this was really good. I really liked it a lot. The ending especially was amazing. You kind of get a big surprise at the end, and the whole thing was good. It's definitely kind of a fantasy romance, but I really like the world. There's a really good plot, and the characters are really engaging. So this is these books are all very long, but I just sit down and then like all of a sudden I'm finished with them. So they're just effortless to read, and I really appreciate how entertaining and effortless they are. So yeah, really, really love that one as well. The next one is another series that I actually got for series. It's another book in a series that I got for review, and that is A Stranger in Town by Kelly Armstrong. This is the 6th book in the Rockton novel. There are going to be 7 books in the series, and this book was so good. It just ties together a lot of things from earlier in the series, and you really get just a lot of things come together. I don't even know how to say. I continue to love the setting. This is set in a very remote town that people go to be safe, kind of like almost like witness protection kind of thing, in the remote Yukon wilderness. And so there's a lot of survival aspects, and you just have a lot of mixture of people who are kind of prey, who are there for protection, and people who pay their way in, who are predators. And so there's just a lot of interesting like psychological stuff going on. But this one does reveal a lot of the broader mysteries and storyline, and they all kind of come together. So really liked it. Really looking forward to book 7. This is one of my favorite Armstrong series. It's just so well done. I really enjoy it. All right, the next one I read was actually a novella that I read in ebook format, and that is Silver in the Wood by Emily Tesh. This was just a really nice read. It seems to be kind of a historical fantasy. It's about a green man who lives in the woods and takes care of the dryads in the woods. And the life in town kind of ends up colliding with some of the stuff that he's doing, and I think that's all I'm gonna say. But it was nice. It was set in the woods, which I love, and I like stories about like green men and stuff like that, and all the characters are really interesting, and there's a lot of like fae and fairy and folklore in here, and I just really liked it, and I'm super looking forward to reading I think The Drowned Country is the next one, so I'm going to be reading that probably next week, and at this point I probably have already read it, but we'll see. Anyways, really loving this series, and that's another Tor.com author, which again, they've had some really, really good authors writing like novellas and stuff for them, so very excited. All right, the next one I really loved is another graphic novel. And I always end up with a lot of graphic novels in my favorites just because a lot of them provide such a great story and artwork and entertainment value, and it isn't a huge time investment to get through them. So this one is Lady Mechanica Volume 6, Sangre? I don't know how you say that. Anyways, the Lady Mechanica series is a steampunk graphic novel series. The artwork is it's just so detailed, and it's really, really well done. It's all kind of a little bit darker toned, very Victorian, so a lot of very elaborate costumes and stuff. And the overall storyline is just Lady Mechanica is part mechanical human living in Victorian times, and she doesn't know her history or know like why she is how she is. And that's kind of the overall storyline. In this one, every graphic novel volume has like a contained mystery, and in this one she's trying to help a Baron find out why his son is sick. And of course it ends up involving other supernatural creatures. So there's a lot of like werewolves and vampires and fae and a whole bunch of stuff in here. So very well done. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a nice, small, cohesive story, and I liked that the overall plot about Lady Mechanica trying to find out her past also made some progress, and I really continue to enjoy the illustration a lot. So really loving that series still. All right, the next one that I read is kind of a fantasy adventure with a bit of a twist, and that is The Bone Maker by Sarah Beth Durst. This is a fantasy adventure that features older characters who have already become the heroes of the realm and done their huge big quest. And then in the quest to save one of the older characters, they find out that maybe some of their past accomplishments have come back to haunt them. So there's a lot of adventure, there's some politics. It was really well done. I liked the characters a lot. You end up with a band, I think, of like 5 characters that just have a really interesting dynamic. A very good evil villain. It's kind of a classic good versus evil, but with some twists. And I absolutely love the magic system in here. Everything in the society revolves around bone magic. So, yeah, very interesting. And I liked it. I thought it was really, really good. The next one is a manga series that I love and will be no surprise to anybody that's on my favorites for this month. And that is Witch Hat 8 Layer Volume 7 by Kamomi Shirahama. This series just remains so good. I love it so much. Again, I love the artwork in here. It's so well done and so intricate and so beautiful and just very, very, wonderful to look at. I love the characters in the story. This one, Coco is still trying to find a way to help her mother, and she ends up taking off by herself to do it. And some of her teacher, Quifrey, you find out a whole bunch about his past as well. So really interesting characters, very good story. I like the magic in it. I love the illustration in the magical fantasy world. It's just very well done. So if you like fantasy manga, Witch Hat 8 Layer is really, really good. I would recommend it. All right, the last book I want to talk about is another fantasy, and it's kind of another adventure fantasy, which is ironic because I was thinking, early February, gosh, I really would like to read some more adventure fantasy, and there's just not enough of that coming out. And then I read Bone Maker, which was great, and then I read this novel, which is The Bright and the Pale by Jessica Rubinkowski. This was pretty much amazing. It's mostly, there are some politics and stuff in here, but it is mostly a flat out adventure fantasy. It features a young girl who is a thief whose parents, her whole village was taken by this freezing sickness, and everybody in the village was frozen solid. Through a series of circumstances, she ends up on an adventure in the depths of the mountain trying to help this guy find some stuff, and it ends up wrapping back into why her village got all frozen and all that. But like the cave adventure fantasy stuff and all the magic and exploration and all that were really well done, and I really liked it. So this is another one. There is a little bit of romance in here, a lot of adventure, some intrigue and politics, a really cool world, and just really engaging, fun characters. I love this. I had trouble putting it down, and I cannot wait to read. I'm like blanking on how many books are going to be in this series, but there are going to be more books in the series. So Really, really love this one. And yeah, it was good. If you like fantasy adventure, definitely pick this up. I thought it was really good. All right, so those are the, I think I said 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, 8 books that I read in February that I really, really liked. As I'm recording this pretty early on from when it's going to post. I'm sitting here watching a snowstorm. I think that, I think I mentioned we were quite warm, and we were yesterday. We were up at almost 50 degrees, and then the temperature dropped overnight, and now we're going to get like 4 to 6 inches of snow. So always exciting here in Minnesota. You never know what's going to happen from day to day. Anyways, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed my best of February post. I do post every Wednesday and Saturday. Occasionally I've missed a Wednesday, but I try to do posts every Wednesday and Saturday. Usually stacking the shelves on Saturday and then some other random post on Wednesday that's fairly bookish. If you are interested in that, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. And if you enjoyed this, hit the like button and let me know what books you really loved that you read in February. I'm always looking for new books to read and would love to hear what you guys are reading and what you're loving. All right, with that, I hope you got a lot of great books and have been reading a lot of great books, and I will talk to you on Saturday. Bye.